Chris Kavanagh was in charge of Manchester United's game against Crystal Palace. We're going to talk about United's equaliser. This is Maxence Lacroix with a pull of Matheus Cunha. Two parts to this one, Dermot. Was it a penalty? Was it a red card?
Well, Oliver Glasner said it was a red card. He agreed on that. He didn't agree it was a penalty. I think if you look, it starts outside the penalty area here. There, he's on the line then. When he goes down, he's still got hold of him. I think once he hits that line, you see he's still got hold of him, he hits the line there. So it is a penalty because the line belongs to the goalkeeper. There, he hits the line there, just so he lets go of him. So I think it is a penalty and it is a red card because if you look there, the ball's just in front of him. The ball goes to Henderson because he takes him down. The ball keeps travelling. So I think red card.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one for me. That was obviously we see a very similar one last week with Gay, but I look at that one and I'm saying, to me, that's a possible goal-scoring opportunity. It's not obvious because when it gets past him, he's not in control of the ball, and the keeper's there. The keeper's coming out as well. So that's what makes me say it's not an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. I think by the time he gets to the ball, I feel like the keeper would have been there as well. So I think that is the wrong decision in terms of the red card. That's what I think. But we had a disagreement off air about this, but I definitely don't think that's a red card just because I think the goalkeeper will get there as well. Yeah,
we like to compare as well for that consistency, and you mentioned it. What is the difference between the incident and it was Mark Gahey's challenge on Mo Salah at Anfield last month?
Yeah. Again, I mean, we were pretty consistent. We both agreed with this one. It's not a red card because we were saying that we think Diaz can get round and make a challenge. And that's why it's not given as a red card. But it is a very, very similar challenge. There's no doubt about that. And that's why I feel like Lacroix's one is a bit harsh. I don't think it is an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. I think it's similar to this. It should have been given the same decision.
I think Salah one also. I think he actually thinks he's in the penalty area. Because the ball's running away. He doesn't realise he's outside the penalty area, so he's quite happy to take the foul.
Yeah, on where it takes place. You mentioned Oliver Glasner and what he said post-match. He said he felt it could have been a red, but no penalty. So how hard is it to work out just where that foul takes place then?
I think you've got to use everything you've got in your armoury, and one thing is the line. I think if the referee looks at the line, he looks at Cunha, because Cunha's the key, isn't he? The minute he steps on the line, is he still engaged with him? And I think he is. I think once he steps on the penalty area line, that's it. It's always going to be a penalty. I
think the red card, though, I think that's a case of opinion, isn't it, as well? That's the only thing about this situation. I think, like you said there, Derms, for me, it's a red card, for sure. He's inside the box. I don't think there's no doubt about that. The bit that I have doubt about is it a red card or not? And I don't think it's a red card because I just think the goalkeeper is going to get there when Cunha gets there. It's not an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. The consistency that everyone talks about is what I'm always saying as well. Like, you would think sometimes we see decisions like this and you think, do these referees learn the game in the same way in the same place? Because they all have different interpretations of what's an obvious goal-scoring opportunity and what's a possible goal-scoring opportunity. To me, again, I don't think that is a red card.
OK. Chelsea players appeal for a penalty for a handball by Declan Rice. Do we start with the Arsenal man? Do we start with the neutral? We're going to come to Dermot then. Did they have a case?
I thought it was penalty. I thought it was penalty for two reasons. I think he moved his arm to the ball, and I think his arm shouldn't be up that high. I get told that it's because he's engaging with an opponent. Well, in my opinion, you shouldn't be engaged with an opponent that high up. You have no right to put your arms around his shoulders. So for me, it was a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, for me, it's a penalty for a different reason. I'm more talking about why is Declan's arms around him, stopping him jumping. That's the penalty for me. But I think in terms of, his arm, the ball's hit him on his sleeve, which then wouldn't be handball if it's hit on the sleeve of his shirt, right? It has to be below that.
You might want to look again.
So I think we can look again. We can go a bit closer. But I think the ball's hit him on his sleeve, and that's why I don't think that's a yellow card, a penalty. But I do think his arms being around him should have been a penalty.
OK, we are going to show you it again. This is it in the big screen.
Yeah, if we can get closer, is there a view where we can get closer and really slow it down? Because then then you can see it. But I just think it hits him on his sleeve more than anything else. Can we see it? Yeah, I think that hits him on his sleeve. Do you think that hits him on his sleeve?
His arms.
His arm's up, but I still feel like it hits him on his sleeve.
Okay.
No? Derms? I'm just getting looks now from Derms.
Right.
Derms not even speaking to me this morning.
Do you know what?
We've already had disagreements.
Yeah, we've got so much to get through. I'm just going to move it on. Controversy for this second goal, wasn't it? You've got David Raya looking to break quickly. Darren England, he actually stopped the counter to book Cole Palmer for a pull on Bukayo Saka, Dermot.
Yeah, I say this all the time. Good players create time on the ball. They give themselves a little bit more thinking time. I think referee, if he waits 1 second, that's all he's got to wait, 1 second, the whole landscape changes. Arsenal break, he doesn't have to go back and book Cole Palmer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the only thing I would look at there, Derms, is when you look at the referee position, he's actually looking at the ball. He can't see what's going on behind his shoulder because that's where Timber's made his run. He's looking toward the ball. And I think that's why he's given it. I think if his body shape was a bit more towards the whole pitch where he could see, then maybe he would have. I just think that's the reason why he's blown up so quickly, is because he can't see what's happening behind him.
But
But
you don't have to race, do you?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have
no,
to
exactly. You always say that, so take your time.
Okay, right. Focusing more on these set-piece specialists, another goal from a corner for Arsenal's second. Robert Sanchez's appeals for a foul waved away. Any case to answer on this one, Dermot?
I never even considered it, Hayley, honestly. Ball went in. I think, if anything, the Chelsea player pushed him into it anyhow. But I watched this game yesterday and I really feel for the referees now, because in this situation, every corner, there was so much going on. I don't know what the referee's meant to do, because you could pick 3, 4, 5 incidents at every single. It wasn't just that one.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I'm going to go one step further. I think Sanchez, he needs to feel embarrassed today. If he's really asking for a foul for that, that is absolutely embarrassing. And Liam Rossini would look at that and think, what are you doing? That's never been a foul on you. His own players bumped him as well, which is even worse. But, I mean, like you said there, I think the way the game is going, with all the controversy, you've got like 15 players in a 6-yard box. They might just start making a rule like you have to start outside the 6-yard box before you can go in it.
But you look there.
I know, because it's just, there's pull-in, referee, there's not even enough officials to see exactly what's going on there. It's just so much happening, and I think it is hard for officials, but that one is definitely not a foul on Sanchez.
I think what happens now is they prioritise, and I understand why. Which one's impactful, which one's impacting on, where the ball is, because you only have to run that again, and we could pick out 5, 6 different incidents. And not just attackers on defenders, defenders on attackers, as both players engaging.
If you go back to that Declan Rice one where we're talking about the handball, I mean, even behind Declan Rice where there was a handball, João Pedro's getting his shirt pulled. Everyone's pulling and pushing because there's so many people in that area. And sometimes it's not even intentional. You're not intentionally trying to pull and push people. You're trying to get that half a yard. You're trying to get people away from you. Your hands get tangled up in people's shirts. Like, it just happens that way. But it's really, really difficult now for officials. And I can see the rules changing. I can see them saying, until the ball is kicked, no one can be in the 6-yard box. I can see something like that happening, because it's just causing loads of problems every single week.
Did that ever happen, Dermot?
We're changing. We've been changing history. Second yellow card could be getting changed in the World Cup.
I can't see that happening, Simmer. I can't see that happening.
OK. Look, Chelsea's disciplinary record, not great this season. This was their 7th red card for a player to pick up. This was Pedro Neto.
This is crazy.
From a second yellow. This one fairly straightforward in your view, Dermot.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Why would you... He'd only got a yellow card 3 minutes earlier. So he knows he's just been yellow carded. Why does he need to do that? It's breaking away, but he's still got such a lot to do, Martinelli, hasn't he? So much to do, and it's just such a rash challenge.
It's a challenge that is not needed at all. Like, when you actually, he's on the line. He's on the line. He can run with him. He's fast. Neto is fast. He can run with him. He could probably match him for pace. I don't understand why he's dived in there. There is no reason for him to make a tackle there at all. He's cost his team. They're playing with 10 men now. He's 25, 26 years old. He's an experienced player. It's just, it's poor. That's lazy defending. When I look at that, I say that's lazy defending. He could have gone with him. He decided to, dive in, and he's been punished for it, and rightly so.
OK, look, we're going to move on to huge drama at Turf Moor, where Burnley were, very unhappy. They were denied the 98th minute equaliser for handball on Ashley Barnes. That was following a near 5-minute VAR check. Boos rang out after referee Sam Barrett's decision. Dermot, to you, how close a call was this? Did they get the correct decision?
I thought it hit his arm. I think it hits his left arm as it comes down. I think Scott Parker did a brilliant interview afterwards. Absolutely brilliant. And he said, we know the rules, that's it. And he accepted it, which was very, very tough in the circumstances. So I've utmost admiration for him. But I think people would accept that. What caused the boos and what caused the anger is the elongated check.
Yeah.
And I realise it's got to be right. They've got to get it right. They want to be certain. But it just seemed to go on and on and on.
Can you, even that, I was watching that, and to be honest, my initial thought was it's hit his hand, so it's not going to be a goal. But then when you slow it down, you can't actually say for sure 100%.
That's the one on the left.
But it looked like he was saying. It looked like he was saying it's hit his hip for his hip.
Because he's going to say.
No, but I'm saying, to me, I'm looking at that and I'm saying it's still not 100%. It could have hit his arm's very close. There's no doubt about that. But it could have hit his hip. That was a really unfortunate game for Burnley. I have to say, it was a great game, but you can understand why all the players are frustrated. But my initial reaction was, yes, it's handball, and if it hits your arm, it can't be a goal.
Yeah. I also think the last shot was brilliant because the referee was explaining to Ashley Barnes, and I can imagine Sam saying to him, "Look, it's just not my fault. He can't do nothing about it. It's just how it's set up now and what people wanted."
And going back to that, the biggest issue that you mentioned was the time it took 5 minutes to check that. So, does it suggest it's not a clear? It's not clear by the referee, and not a clear error. So then why disallow it then?
Yeah, I just think they just want to be so sure that they just check and check and check. But I think that's what upset everybody.
If you check and check and check and check, surely there's an element of doubt in there.
Well, I always think the more you check something, for me anyhow, if I have to look at something over and over again, I'm actually going to talk myself out of it because I think when I refereed, gut reaction was the be all and end all to me.
But that's what I'm saying. It's still even then, I'm still not 100% sure it's hit his arm. His arm is very close, but it could have hit his hip and gone in that direction. We don't know for sure, and I think that's why it's taken 5 minutes because they're not sure. And I don't know how it goes in that room once again, but is it like a case of the majority? Is there a person that's just saying, I'm the person that's making the final? I don't understand that part.
Well, Paul Tierney was a VAR. He would have, it's his choice, isn't it?
But there's more than one person.
Yeah, but he's ultimately the VAR, and don't forget, this is factual, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not one to send the referee to the screen. It's one where he goes, Jay, I think that's hit his arm, you can disallow the goal. That's how it is. But I do think that's what caused the anger was the time.
Yeah, OK. Look, this incident, Burnley had another goal ruled out. This was for the tightest of offsides on Jadon Anthony. Semi-automated technology used for this one, Dermot. How tight was it?
This is what people go. They have to be careful what they wish for. People said we want VAR to judge offside, and offside's got to be yes or no. And suddenly we have situations like this. We had the one with Danny Welbeck a few weeks ago, and everybody's going, "Oh, is it necessary to pull them up?" Well, that's what people ask for. What I would say in defence of the VAR here, that Burnley were losers on this, but don't forget, Brentford were winners. So much as Burnley were angry about that being offside, Brentford were very happy. You've got to balance it out. So VAR is great as long as it gives the decision you want.
I agree with you. It is a case of be careful what you wish for. But I think the offside rule needs to be more obvious. So I've been saying that it needs to be a foot, someone's foot, then I would deem it offside. This is called football. So even when sometimes you see people leaning, I think if your feet are onside and your body's leaning, that should be onside still. I think it should be if your foot off, then yes, but that is
position of your feet.
Position of your feet. I think that I don't want to see goals not given for things like that. And like you said, yes, for Brentford it's great, for Burnley it's not. But I think for the neutral, people would be looking at that saying, how can you not give it for something like millimetres?
Yeah. And just to clarify, we're not talking foot in measurement, we're talking an actual foot.
An actual
just to
foot,
clear
yeah,
that
an
up,
actual
okay?
foot.
Oh, the whole foot. Okay.